Right now, somewhere in your house, there is a sharp object within reach. A kitchen knife, a pair of scissors, a pencil even, if you tilt it just right. You don't think twice about it. But the real answer to why you're so comfortable around sharp things is far stranger than convenience. It goes back nearly 500,000 years to a moment when a different kind of human picked up a stick and changed the fate of every predator on Earth. You are not the strongest animal that ever lived. You are not the fastest. You don't have claws. You don't have fangs built for tearing flesh. And yet, for the last 100,000 years, nothing on this planet has feared you less than it should. Why? The answer starts with a stick. Not a special stick, just a length of wood, maybe as tall as you, picked up off the ground by a human ancestor who was hungry and outmatched. Sharpen one end, harden it in a fire. Suddenly, that stick is not a stick anymore. It's the first tool that let a slow, clawless primate kill something faster and stronger than itself from a distance. In 2012, archaeologist Jane Wilkins and her team examined stone points found at a site called Kathu Pan in South Africa. The points showed a very specific kind of damage, fracture patterns that only happen when something is thrust into a target at speed. These weren't cutting tools, they were spear tips. And they were nearly 500,000 years old. Think about that number for a second. 500,000 years. That's before Homo sapiens even existed as a species. Some earlier human relative, maybe Homo heidelbergensis, was already strapping a stone point to a wooden shaft and driving it into the side of an animal 3 times its body weight. Why would that matter so much? Because up until that point, hunting meant getting close. Close enough to grapple, close enough to get gored or bitten or trampled. A spear changed the geometry of violence. It let you strike something without being struck back. It turned a physical fight into a calculated one. And calculation, it turns out, is the thing your species has always been best at. Here's where it gets stranger. Sharpening a stick is easy. Throwing it accurately is not. Your shoulder is built in a way that almost no other animal's is. Chimpanzees, your closest living relatives, cannot throw anything with real speed or accuracy. Their shoulders are locked into a shape suited for climbing, not launching. Yours is different. In 2013, biologist Neil Roach, then at George Washington University, studied the mechanics of the human throwing motion using high-speed cameras and college baseball pitchers. What he found was that the human shoulder acts like a slingshot. It stores elastic energy in the tendons and ligaments as your arm winds back, then releases that energy in a fraction of a second. The result is the fastest rotational motion the human body can produce. Faster, in fact, than any other movement your body is capable of making. That mechanism didn't evolve for baseball. It evolved for exactly one reason: to throw a sharpened stick hard enough and far enough to kill something before it ever got close enough to kill you. Do you see what that means? Your shoulder is a weapon that predates language, predates fire in some cases, and very possibly predates your own species. You were built, quite literally, to be dangerous from a distance. But a sharp stick alone doesn't explain everything. Plenty of animals have natural weapons. A gazelle has speed. A lion has teeth built for a single efficient kill. What your ancestors had that no other predator on the savannah had was something else entirely: the ability to plan. Anthropologist John Shea, who has spent decades studying Stone Age weapon technology, has argued that the shift from close-range tools to true projectile weapons marks one of the most significant cognitive leaps in human prehistory. To throw a spear effectively, you have to predict where a moving target will be, not where it currently is. You have to imagine the future position of another living thing and adjust your entire body to intercept it. That's not muscle. That's forecasting. And once your ancestors could forecast a gazelle's next 3 steps, it was only a matter of time before they could forecast almost anything: where the herds would migrate next season, which caves would flood in the rains, who in the group could be trusted and who couldn't. The spear didn't just kill animals. It rewired the way humans thought about the world. Consider what happens to a species once it no longer has to fight fair. Every other predator on Earth is bound by its own body. A wolf can only be as dangerous as its jaw allows. A crocodile can only be as dangerous as the water it hides in. But a human with a spear is dangerous in a way that has nothing to do with muscle or teeth at all. The danger lives in the tool, and tools can be improved. That single fact broke every rule the natural world had operated under for millions of years. Sharper stone points came next, then points bound to the shaft with sinew instead of tree resin, which held together under more force. Then, tens of thousands of years later, the atlatl, a simple lever that let a thrower launch a dart with roughly double the force of an arm alone. Each improvement meant your ancestors could kill from farther away, with less risk, more often. You might ask yourself, why does this matter now? You're not hunting mammoths. You're probably not throwing anything sharper than a stapler today. But your body doesn't know that. The same shoulder mechanism that hurled a spear 500,000 years ago is the reason a pitcher can throw a baseball at 95 miles an hour. It's the reason you flinch and cock your arm back instinctively when something startles you and your hand happens to be holding something. It's the reason a quarterback's release looks almost identical, biomechanically, to a hunter loosing a spear on the plains of ancient Africa. The motion is ancient. Only the target has changed, and it's not just your shoulder that carries the memory. Psychologists have long noted that humans across nearly every culture show an innate comfort with tools that extend the body's reach, from a broom to a golf club to a game controller. Some researchers argue this points to a deep evolutionary groove, a brain that has spent 500,000 years treating handheld objects as extensions of the self. When you pick something up and use it as a lever against the world, you're doing something your ancestors did before they had a word for tool. Is that comforting or unsettling? Maybe both. Because the same instinct that let a small, slow primate become the most dangerous creature on the planet is still sitting inside you, mostly dormant, occasionally surfacing in a well-thrown snowball or a flinch at a loud noise. There's a strange irony in all of this. The spear was never really about strength. It was about distance, about removing yourself from the danger while still reaching the target. And in a way, that's still how you navigate threats today, whether it's an argument you'd rather have over text than face-to-face, or a problem you'd rather plan for than confront head-on. The impulse to create space between yourself and danger and to close that gap only on your own terms is older than your species itself. So the next time you pick up something sharp without thinking or throw something across a room without aiming, pause for a second. That motion is not new. It is not learned in this lifetime. It was carved into your shoulder, your instincts, and your sense of how to survive 500,000 years before anyone alive today was born. You didn't invent the reach for something sharp. You inherited it, and somewhere out on an ancient plain, a slow, clawless creature picked up a stick, sharpened one end, and quietly became the deadliest thing the world had ever seen.